We're gearing up for the Celtics Sixers round one playoff matchup. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Bobby Manning and Josue Pavon. We know the 76ers are without their star, Ben Simmons, but Brad Stevens had something interesting to say about it. He said Philadelphia's offense is actually better without Simmons in the game. Do you agree with that, and do you see where he's coming from?
I don't agree with that. I see where he's coming from. You know, you're trying to get your team psyched up because, let's face it, the Celtics do struggle with defending the three-point arc, and the Sixers do have shooters. I'll give you that, Brad. But are they going to come to play? That's yet to be seen. You know, we have to wait and see if that's going to actually they're going to be able to put this thing together, because I really do think it's going to be a short series. I'm giving Philly one game, though. I think the Celtics wrap this up in 5. But I think it's so important for the Celtics to do that, because they need, A, plenty of rest. I'm looking at Kemba Walker, of course. And B, I think they need to sort of have that, not only confidence, but more momentum, you know, more continuity. Let's get a couple blowouts here. Let's get the kind of momentum you need to go into the second round, where they're going to be facing a much, much tougher matchup in the Toronto Raptors.
The 76ers seem to be lacking on a talent gap now to me. You lose Jimmy Butler, you lose Ben Simmons. Al Horford can fill in the gap in some aspects, but I look at them and I say, where are the points going to come from? I'm interested that Brad says that. I got to dig deeper on those statistics there, because I'm looking at how they played before the break without Simmons. I see a 13-point loss to the Lakers, a 14-point loss to Cleveland. There's bigger concerns in Philly beyond the on-the-court stuff, but when I keep it to just the X's and O's, they're going to have a hard time putting up points against Boston's defense. We talked about Philly's defense all year long. Boston actually had the season defensively that people thought Philly could. So they're lacking on both ends. And I get what Stevens is saying, Josue, because we've seen the Celtics come out and lay some clunkers when they get a little overconfident, when when the trends move ahead of them in terms of, all right, Simmons is gone, this should be a breeze. He knows that they might come out lacking on the defensive end, and that's when they look poor. But you know, who can hurt them? Horford, even as playoff best, is, 15, 20 points, maybe pushing 25. Korkmaz, he's gone off here or there, but it gets thin for them after the top 7 or 8.
Absolutely. And Josue, you jumped the gun a little bit before our playoff previews, but I'll have you expand on your 5-game Celtics and 5-game prediction here.
Oh man, I mean, this might be the most lopsided first round series, but I guess Bobby sort of nailed it when you talk about the offensive firepower the Celtics had. That's never been a concern for me. It's always been on the defensive side of things. And yeah, the Sixers do have the best player in the series in Joel Embiid. But is he all there? Is he really pumped up for this one? I mean, he hasn't shown me any signs of that. Of course, on the court he has, but does it translate into wins? And I just think the frustration of being down by 20 or always having to climb uphill and play catch up is going to eventually it's going to catch up to Embiid and the rest of the Sixers. So I just think it's just too much offensive firepower for Philly to handle.
It already caught up to him. I mean, he had those 5 monster games, and then he gets hurt. He has 2 points. He has 5 points in the last game. He seems battered himself at this point. And if he's ineffective, if he's slow, this is going to be a sweep. And you talked about it, Josue. You would have loved to have beaten them at full strength and made a statement out of this series, even gained a little bit from having a hard time here. That's why I wanted Philly, even before the Simmons series, to get ramped up. And all of a sudden, this is looking like a easier series than Indiana or definitely Miami would have been.
Hey, Bobby, let me ask you a quick question. What about Brett Brown, though? Do you think the Simmons injury, does that help his chances of keeping his job, or what do you think?
No, it doesn't. It's been too many years. It's been too much drama. It's not him. And we see this all the time. The Pacers were on their way to firing Nate McMillan, it looked like, according to the rumor mill, before they extended him for another year. And that was out of his control as well. So coaches get fired for stuff out of their control all the time. And I almost certainly see this going in that direction if they lose in 4 or 5 here.
I'm going Celtics in 5, maybe 6, only because we know Joel Embiid is an emotional guy who usually feeds off the energy of fans and that positive reinforcement. We know the fans aren't there, but it is a rivalry between Boston and Philly, and so he'll get up for that. He'll get up because he doesn't like the Celtics and he doesn't like Boston. So there should be some sort of juice for Joel because he does love the drama of it all. So Celtics in 5, maybe 6 if the Sixers get lucky on a game here or there. Joel just really dominates in one of the games. But definitely a matchup that favors Boston. We'll have all of your playoff coverage on our website at clnsmedia.com and on our YouTube channel at Celtics All Access.